Welcome to Vintage Cars of Victoria. I'm Joey Scarfone. We're going to take a look at the city's exciting vintage car culture and some of the rarest and most beautiful vintage cars that live right here in Victoria. Stay tuned, I think you'll enjoy this. We're here at the Pearkes Arena for the Rock and Roll for Little Soul show. Joel, can you tell us a little bit about the charity you're involved with here?
So this is organized with Saanich Firefighters Charitable Foundation, and basically the idea of the weekend is to raise funds for Children's Health on Vancouver Island. And two of the foundations that we work closely with are Victoria Hospitals Foundation and Children's Health Foundation. All the proceeds from this weekend go directly towards them to help.
Chevy Impala. Yeah, I like the extra on the rear and the front of the vehicle, all the extra chrome, it looks pretty good. And I know the owner.
I understand it was very successful last year.
So last year we raised upwards of $17,000. Bringing our total since the event started to almost $300,000 raised for Children's Health. And we had about 2,000 people come through the doors, so we're obviously hoping that we can improve on that, and our numbers as of yesterday are higher than last year, so it's looking good so far.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So Larry, can you tell us a little bit about organizing the show and the history of the show?
Sure. This is our 14th annual, and initially it started out as a dance with rock and roll music, hence the name. It's sort of morphed into a car show over the years. What they would do at the dance is they would have a couple of cars next to the stage to sort of set the scene for the show. About 5 years ago, we discovered that putting a dance on is getting to be rather expensive. A lot of us are getting older. We couldn't stay up as late anymore. So we decided to try half a car show and half a dance. Well, that went over so well that we decided to eliminate the dance altogether and go strictly with a car show. So 5 years ago we did that, and we have about 75 cars each year, a variety of cars. One of the things we're quite proud of is the fact that we don't have the same car twice in the show, so everything you see here today has never appeared before in this show. And also the variety that we have hot rods, classic cars, motorcycles, boats.
And it's not just a vintage show per se, there's some modern...
There are some modern cars here that are rather unique, quite expensive cars as well. Yeah, we try and get that variety. We're trying to bring in some of the younger crowd that are in the car community. One of the things that we did this year, we invited car clubs to represent themselves at the show.
36 Ford flathead V8 pickup truck. It's been fully restored by a member of our club, Dave Wallace. We're the early Ford V8 clubs. Most of our people have Fords. Usually, we got some Model Ts and Model As. But, we have other members in there in our club that have Chevys and Dodges and things. It's a club in that for people that like cars. We all get together and have a good time together with cars.
So we have this year 7 car clubs bring their cars into the show and set up their own displays and all that kind of stuff. They're able to, promote their clubs and talk about their activities that they have throughout the year.
Well, there's some spectacular vehicles here, and I'm really looking forward to taking a look. So how about we take a look at the cars?
Let's do that.
Not bad for 8 years old.
Well, it's a beautiful car, or truck. Very nice. I like them all, actually. I like photographing cars. It's something which I can appreciate. The design, the colors, composition, the whole works.
And yeah, I like the cars. Yeah, especially the Fords. I'm a Ford nut.
Well, history, the club is about 25 years old. It was started here in Victoria. One of the founding members was Ian Cox, who is still a member of the club and actually has one of his vehicles in the show here. Located in British Columbia, we have about 5 other branches. We have South Island branch, which composes the lower half of Vancouver Island. We have Central Island branch, we have Vancouver mainland branch, and we have the interior branch located mainly in Kamloops, and then we have the branch in the Kootenays.
How many members total?
We have over 400 members total in the club, and with about 160 members in the South Island branch, of which I am the chairman.
Well, we have some very interesting cars behind us. Can you tell us about this MG that we're standing in front of?
Well, this MG is a 1948 MG sedan, made after the war, of course. After the war, there was no real new car design, so this car is basically a pre-war design. Car production in US, Canada, and Europe was not up to speed yet because they were just getting off war production. So they basically just copied pre-war cars, and this is a good example of one.
We're standing in front of a beautiful 62 Triumph. Kelly, can you walk us through this?
Well, this is a 1962 Triumph TR3B. This is the last production model of the TR3 series. This was actually being produced. The new TR4 was also in production, but there was such a demand for these cars that they continued production even though they had the new model going. So this has actually got the TR4 engine and transmission, which the other TR3s did not have. Most of these cars were actually produced, they're actually made in Britain, although some were assembled in South Africa and Belgium. They were mainly export cars because the British, after the war, did not have much in the way of income. They had a huge war debt. So 95% of these original cars were exported mainly to North America just to help pay off that war debt.
I'm with Larry Szalinski and his 36 Ford Coupe. Larry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joey.
Can you tell us a little bit about your early days of collecting cars?
Well, I was growing up in Burnaby over outside of Vancouver, which was sort of a hotbed for hot rodding back in the 50s and that. And I think my first car that I bought was about 1960. It was a 32 Ford Coupe. I sort of got the bite on at that, and I was sort of one of the younger bunch, and we just sort of hung around with the big kids and grew into that and stuff like this. So it sort of carried on with me from day one, sort of thing.
How long have you had this vehicle?
Well, this one in particular, I've only had for, I guess, about 3 years now. Yeah.
Have you done any work on it yourself?
Yeah, it had, the car itself had been sitting for several years in a barn out by Souk. And a friend of mine, Bob Rivers, bought it. He bought it in '93, and he didn't really do much with it. And it sort of sat in his garage. When I got a hold of it, I just sort of updated a few things, did a lot of cleaning on it, stuff like this. But I didn't want to take away from the originality of the car because of its history and all that. And
yeah. Can you tell us a little more about the history of it?
well, the car was bought brand new in 1936 at National Motors down on Yates Street. And it was bought by a traveling salesman, and which was kind of cool because what it is the car itself is it's what they call a businessman's coupe. And what it is the back of the seat there flips up like that so that the businessman can get through with all his wares in the back and everything, you see. He had it, I think, for about 3 years. And then Ma Wilson, who at the time she owned the 17 Mile Pub out towards Souk, she bought it from him, and she used to run back and forth between the house that she lived in about a quarter of a mile down the road and the pub. And she'd drive this thing down there and park beside the pub. And it just got well known over the years that this thing would sit beside the pub and while Ma was there, and then she'd drive it home. And so she did that for many years. And then finally she just stopped driving and she parked the thing, and I think that was about in the late 50s, mid to late 50s, yeah.
Well, it's a great vehicle, and I want to thank you very much for taking time out to do this for us, Larry.
Oh, it's a pleasure, yeah.
I'm here with Murray Anderson and his 53 Ford pickup. Murray, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joey.
Can you tell us a bit about the history of your truck?
This belonged to my great uncle. He was the Harley dealer in town for 60 years, and this was his shop truck that we restored.
I see. And did you do any work on this yourself?
I did quite a bit of it. I found all the parts, and I helped with a bit of the body work, and then I had a friend of mine do the mechanical work for me. This took 3 years to do.
3 years?
Yeah.
And have you done many shows with this?
Quite a few shows, yeah. We do probably 4 or 5 shows a year.
4 or 5 a year?
Yeah.
Up and down the island?
Up and down the island. We go to Penticton and Qualicum.
The door is showing what looks to me to be hand painted.
It was.
It was?
It was hand painted by a sign painter at Canoe Cove Marina. He did the gold leaf for us, and we used the copy of my uncle's letterhead to get the right script for it.
Looks like the old English font.
It was, yeah. I drive it all the time.
You drive it all
Yeah,
the time?
I drive it all the time. We've probably put 25,000 miles on it since we restored it.
Thanks very much for doing this,
Great.
Murray.
Thanks, Joey.
I'm with Lloyd Houston and his 85 IROC Z Camaro. Lloyd, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joey. Nice to see you here today.
Can you tell us what IROC stands for?
Yeah, IROC was the designation of the International Race of Champions that was emanated in the early 70s, and the Camaro was named after that IROC designation. And in 1985, actually, Chevrolet introduced the IROC Camaro, and this is an example of that vehicle.
Can you give us a little bit more of the evolution of the design of the Camaro?
Okay. Well, there are 6, as of 2016 actually, there are 6 generations of Camaro now, and this is a 3rd generation, and quite unique in design, and in good handling characteristics were incorporated into the Z28s and the IROC Camaros.
And this is one of 5 Camaros you own, I believe?
Yes, that's the case. I'm fortunate enough to have 5 of them, yes.
And you call it the full house?
They call it the full house, Z28s over SSs.
What developed your passion for Camaros?
Well, I've always liked Camaros and have had them for many years, so it was a matter of being lucky enough and fortunate enough to put together a little bit of a collection that I can enjoy and have other people enjoy as well.
Can you tell us a bit about the uniqueness of the IROC engine?
Sure, Joey. One of the things is, you're right, it doesn't have a carburetor. This was the first Camaro with tune port injection that was developed by General Motors, and it was taken from the Corvette applications. Another unique thing about this vehicle is, or this year vehicle, is the 700R4 automatic transmission was introduced in 1985. And these particular cars, the IROC, had special ground effects and enhanced handling packages and characteristics, and was engineered to be a good handling vehicle. Not high horsepower in the mid-80s, but it was compensated for by good gear ratios and the tune port injection engine.
So what we do is we build the systems behind you. So we do a couple of different types of simulators. This one is our racing simulator. We also do flight simulators. We do helicopter simulators. We can do a trucking simulator. We can develop sort of different products based on what each of our customers want. One of our biggest partners is D-Box. We also work with Microsoft and quite closely with Intel. We work with these companies to essentially develop the system that you see behind us, and each system is built here in Victoria. We're a company based out of Sydney. The company was incorporated in 2008. You're gonna have to shift up again. There you go, perfect. And one more time.
I think it's great. I like the older ones, yeah.
Yes, I got a 41 four-door.
I got one I'm working on at home, yeah.
If you'd like to know more about vintage cars, or if you have a vintage car you would like us to take a look at, you can contact me by email, joey@vintagecarsvictoria.com. Bye for now.